Welcome to the continuation of our topic from April 10th. We began our discussion on media landscape part 1, which traditionally was focused on everything that we do from radio, newspaper, TV, the benefits of such a thing. Today we're going to continue on with this and we're going to really look at just the final slides, but I want to give you an overview. Why is it really important that we do this? Because I know that you're going to spend the next 2 weeks focusing on trying to make sure that this is the most creative report that you've ever done, and I really want you to think outside the box. So I'm going to start this presentation on slides that we haven't covered, and I'm going to give you an example of something creative, something out there that even Volkswagen can do. It doesn't necessarily take a lot of money, but possibly does require a lot of planning, and you'll see from this particular image. So this is Volkswagen. As you can see, it's received a lot of views. And what's lovely about Volkswagen, they never miss the opportunity to film everything to be used for all types of promotional material. This is guerrilla marketing in action. Very simple. They put a slide in a station and let people enjoy. And it fits with their message, speed up your life. Okay, so you can do the most crazy things with this. So let's just go back to our lecture notes. I'm going to widen up our screen for the purpose of this. So we're back to our lecture notes, and where possible, hopefully you can see everything without having me on this particular screen with you. Okay, so we're back on to full screen. This is media landscape. As I said, we've talked this before. You got an example of guerrilla marketing. And I want to make sure that over the next 2 weeks, before the submission of this report, that you really think about the types of media that you use and what message it's talking to. So message, marketing tools and techniques, and the media through which you wish to communicate. And that's taken into consideration with your budget, but also if you think that you have an idea that is so creative that possibly goes outside of your budget, but you want to share with Aisling, then please do present it. Let us discuss this and present your idea. We're more than happy to see creativity and imagination at work. As you can see, this is the diagram that I need you to work off. You can see that there's various things: tools, media, and content. This is really, really important, where I actually need to see not only an idea, but I also need to see a mock-up. I need to see something tangible. I need to get a feel, a look of what it is that you're trying to get across. The AMC mix, again, I would anticipate that you're going to address this. You're going to look at the media, and also you're going to think about the types of messages that you're trying to get across. ADA, whether it's something you want to adopt for theory purposes. The mix itself, are you trying to reach people through a mass medium, a niche media, addressable media, or interactive media? We talked about poem, we talked about the media classification, and also the types of class, the type, and the vehicle. Again, the poem. whether you're going to use sort of like the linear approach where you don't expect people to respond but they're engaged by your information, or the interactive side. Where does that come from? And you may find that it's more feasible to be as interactive when you move to more digital media. The whole idea is to reach hopefully key audiences, and we give examples of television and radio. Linear media, whether it's the duration of the length of the ad or when it's positioned, can be extremely important. Linear media, television, radio, you can see here the strengths and weaknesses. So when you're choosing your type of media, you need to be very realistic when you're talking to myself and Aisling, and be able to provide rationale of what you've looked at in relation to these medias, what makes them a good choice, what may be their weaknesses, but what is currently the reason why you're choosing this particular media over any other media to portray that message. Print media, think of what you do. Does this fit with what they do? And if they already do print, what can they do better? Newspapers, magazines, is there an option? I want to show these visuals of the billboards again. This is where I allow you to be as creative as possible. I'm conscious that there is a budget, but again, let's see what you can do. Some really fun ones, some competitor ones, sometimes words are not necessary. Though you can use visuals to do something, make something much, much stronger. Outdoor media in the form of, furniture, outdoor furniture. Could you see something like this with a muse adaptation around the campus? Something maybe requires some sort of authorization within the university, but to have some form of a chalk image. Ad shells, could you see something with muse on it at your local bus stops? Again, static message displays, which are unable to convey a lot of detail, but are good for basically reinforcing the brand awareness. So think about the objectives that you're trying to address, how to engage a non-engager, how to generate awareness, and essentially your final objective is how do you bring them from generating that engagement, raising that awareness, getting them on board, and then getting them through to the completion stage, and using your calendar to really map these objectives across the year. Also digital billboards, the interactiveness of that, how engaging they are, names, signs and symbols, outdoor transport. Some of these things are very out there. What transport comes in and out of Maynooth? Not all of this is applicable, but how would you adapt this for the Maynooth setting? We do have transport on campus. How would we use this? Again, something different. Whether it's just something small on the side of a bus or a train, right through to something inside. And for what purpose? Is it informational? Is it awareness? Is it catchy? Is it humorous? Again, something different that you might want to think about. As well as having linear media at the point of purchase or on the packaging. I appreciate you're working with the service, so always a bit more challenging, but I'm saying that how can you promote this through your interfaces that you're working with your different consumers? We've cinema and ambient. How would you envisage something as ambient as this to work on Maynooth? Or something as out there, as engaging people, as something as fun or as lively or as creative as this? Again, examples of ambient marketing. We may not have escalators in the university, but we do have stairs. Something very different, not necessarily as relevant, but also things that are physically attached to buildings. How can we build on them if we can? I've shown you an example of guerrilla marketing, of Volkswagen's campaign, Speed Up Your Life. Could you have a one-off, non-traditional media tactic that really captures people, unconventional, novel, creates a buzz, generates word of mouth, but is relatively low cost in enacting? Is this something that you could make as a one-off and build your whole media campaign around your Instagram, your Facebook, and all of your activities around this particular one-off event? Interactive. So what is interactive media? Media platforms which provide interactive capabilities to enable people to connect with, participate in, and interact with the data. So huge impact on marketing communications mix. So this can be through the internet, mobile technologies, and marketing databases. So interactive media has the characteristics of speed, efficiency and interactivity. And these are obviously very beneficial characteristics linked to being interactive. Also, independence, delivery of direct marketing messages via portable mobile devices. Really important, personalization, ability to customize content for individual consumers. So if they're at a certain stage in the Muse process, is there certain engagements that you can have with certain consumers or certain students where they're at in that process, and how you can personally connect with them to motivate them to the next stage of completion. And also, really, really important, Muse, this whole idea of enhancement of relationships. Very, very important. So you can see linear media has one-to-many, interactive media is one-to-one and many-to-many. So you can see the difference between monologue versus dialogue, and one is active provision, one is more passive, the difference between both. You can see how the strengths of each one of those types of media. Interactive media, the benefits and opportunities of interactive media: discovery, engagement, sharing and play. How do you bring those types of key things into your discussion or into your research? Direct response media. I know some of you were very smart in how you incorporated sort of the direct response media into your data collection to encourage people to go directly to your survey. Very smart. So if you're running something like this again, would this work? Would a QR code work? And how would you build upon that? How would you develop that? Would you use it in any other medium? Multi-channel campaigns must determine which customers prefer which media channels. So obviously you're working with one large cohort of student body, but does it differ from first, second, third year into postgrad? If it does, then do you need to take a look at different channels, and does this become a multi-channel campaign? If not, then state why. Goal is essentially to manage each channel profitably while optimizing channel attributes in order to deliver value for each type of customer. So we've come to the end of this particular part of the landscapes. We will be continuing on with our next class with the second half of the media landscapes. So please go to those lecture notes. They are in full. I do anticipate that you will already have visited them, as well as the evaluation. So when we return, and what will be our final lecture classes, we will be looking at media landscapes and evaluation. So it will be extremely important. It will be our last opportunity to engage before you go to present the following week and before the submission of your final report. Please use the week when we would come back to really engage with me. If your groups so wish to meet with me, if they so wish to talk to me in our lectures or outside of lectures, then please communicate via email to do so. You can refer to the module handbook to support your understanding and your own theory, to support the theory in your report with media landscapes and evaluation. Do not leave evaluation out. I know it may be the last thing we discuss, but it will be a really important part of the marking process, so do not forget about it. Other than that, please make sure your group are meeting. If you have any queries, please contact me as soon as possible. I'm more than happy to meet with your group after we return from the Easter break, but also to make sure that you are happy with what you're submitting as your final report. I wish you all the best, and I look forward to engaging you on what will be part 2 of Media Landscapes and Topic 10 evaluation when we return after Easter. Thank you.